Welcome to Sweet Talk SLP. I'm Krystle and I'm a pediatric speech language pathologist. Today is another ranking video, but before we get started, if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, I invite you to subscribe, like this video, and share it with your friends. Let's get started. Hello my friends, today I am going to be ranking my top 5 ways to get high speech trials. So whether you have a child on your caseload that has childhood apraxia of speech, a phonological disorder, or an articulation disorder, your main goal is always to get the highest amount of trials you can, and these are the top 5 ways that I like to do it in my therapy sessions. So let's get started. For number 5, I have clickers and dice. I paired these in the same category because I kind of use them in the same way, or very similarly, or use them in conjunction together. So for dice, you roll the dice and then you practice your speech sound or your word that number of times. And so then you can also pair it with your clicker or use it separately to click every time the speech sound is produced or the word is produced. You're aiming for at least 100 speech trials. For some of your kids, 50 may be the most you can get. And so if you have a responsible-ish child, they can be in charge of the clicker, or you can both have a clicker and see if you can match it. I purchased a set of 6, which I'll link down below. And so you just click away. So I enjoy using these in my sessions. I use them for some of my older kids, not my 3 to 4 year olds, but sometimes my 4 to 5 year olds or older can handle using these for high speech trials. Number 4 are high speech trial worksheets. I don't have any printed currently, but I will post a picture up here for you to see. I use worksheets by Adventures in Speech Pathology, and I also use worksheets by Ashley Rossi. And so I will link them down below. They offer free worksheets for high speed trials. And so most of these pages have 100 little images that you can use a bingo dauber or a bingo marker or put magnetic chips on top of to mark every time you've produced that sound. Or if you use one of those clear pouches that you slide it into or laminate it, you can use a dry erase marker to mark it off. They have so many varieties. Some are seasonal, some have, monsters or space themes. And so whatever it is that you're working on with that child or whatever they enjoy, you may be able to find a worksheet that works for you. In some cases, I kind of divide it in half and do 50-50. You do, I do, and we're trying to race to the middle of the page and see who can get there faster, or we each have our own page, and of course we're trying to race through it together just so that we can get as many trials as we can. So it's definitely a favorite of mine. For number 3, small items. I don't know how else to label this section except for small items. So I do have some examples in front of me to show. Of course, you can use mini erasers, which I actually don't have any in front of me, surprisingly, or mini objects in general. If you've purchased mini objects from, say, Speech Tree Co. or some other vendor out there, you can use those for getting the highest trials that you can. I also really enjoy using the plus pieces, these little, I don't want them to fall out of this box. You can buy them on Amazon, but they're pricey. You often find these in the dollar spot area at Target, which is what I have done. So these are some pastel colored ones. I also have primary color ones, but they also do seasonal ones. So I think right now for Valentine's Day, they have some red, pink, and white plus connectors. You can also use regular small Legos. You can buy them at the Dollar Tree and just kind of connect them together to make whatever it is you want. Also at Target, I've found some small little mini toys. They click together, very similar to that. You work on a sound maybe or a word 10 times. You collect one object of your choice, and usually I hold on to them, and then once we get through all of it, we build something together using the pieces that we've earned. I also enjoy mini clothespins. These are some larger ones. I have some smaller ones, but I found that the smaller ones kind of break. So I have some that are small, but not too miniature. And so you can clip these on pages after you finish working on a word. Again, maybe 10, 15, 20 times. You put the little clothespin there to mark it. I also like using beads. And so either to put the beads on, say, a pipe cleaner, or maybe earning beads to make a bracelet. So just something fun, something with a lot of pieces, just to mark that you've made all of your speech sounds that you need. You can also use these pieces to put on those 100 trial pages, but I sometimes use them together and sometimes don't. So I think they needed their own category. Number 2, games. I particularly like Goliath games. I feel like a lot of those games lend for high trials in speech therapy. You have to earn the pieces to put the game together before you play it. So for example, Shark Bite has, the fish that you put in the shark. So you have to work on your speech sound or your word 5, 10, 15 times, whatever number you set. And then you get to put the little fish or lobster or crab into the shark's mouth. And so you're earning all the pieces before you get to play the game. Same with Banana Blast, collect all the bananas, or Jumping Jack, collect all the carrots, Pop the Pig, collect all the burgers, Beware of Bear, collect all the pieces for the, basket. So there's a ton of Goliath games, and they lend very well to getting high speech trials for those kids. You can also use it, I love using those for my kids with apraxia when we're working on very small syllable shapes. Maybe we're working on in or out, and so you can get high trials on those words just with those games in and itself. I like other games with pieces also, of course, something like Connect 4. You earn your red or yellow chips before you play the game. Battleship, you maybe work on a speech sound between turns. Really any game you can turn into high speech trials in your therapy sessions. As long as it's molded for the age of your child and it's something that they can play, there's no reason why you can't pick a game with a lot of pieces to kind of work that out. And coming in at number 1 are activities that contain many pieces. So similar to games, but not quite a game, I have lots of activities that have lots of pieces that you have to work on your speech trials to earn, said piece. For example, I have the Enchanted Cupcake Surprise Party, and so you have to practice your word or your sound to earn the little cup, the little cake, the little frosting, the little topper to make your little cupcakes. I also use learning resources activities. I have the rock and gem, so before you can open one of the rocks, they might be holding, if they're able to, hold the hammer and the pick that come with the game, but before you can open a rock, you have to practice your word 5, 10, 15 times, and then I give you the rock. Same with the learning resources counting surprise party. Before you get to open one of the gifts, you have to work on, the sound that you're working on for today. I also have some food making activities. I have a pizza that has 6 slices of pizza, and each pizza slice allows for 3 toppings. So you have to earn each slice of pizza. You have to earn each topping to put on top of it. And so depending on the child, I either reward with the piece as soon as they've practiced their word, 5 or 10 times, or I collect all the pieces on the side and see how many we can collect, and then at the end of whatever sound we're working on, give them those pieces to build their pizza all together. So it just depends on the child that I'm working with or the amount of time that I have left in my session to make that all work out. I'd love to know, what are your favorite ways of achieving high trials in speech therapy? Maybe a game that I didn't mention, or using something with a lot of pieces that I also didn't mention, or maybe we have very similar ideas on how to get those high trials. I'm a big believer in high trials. I make it a point to really teach my SLPAs or students or interns that come through the importance of those high trials and activities to pair with it to make sure that they're as successful as they can be at reaching those high trials with the kids that have speech sound disorders. That's all I have for now. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, I hope that you'll consider subscribing, like this video, share it with your friends, ring that notification bell. You'll be notified of my weekly uploads. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one.